Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into something that's been blowing up lately. Generative AI. We're going to dig into how it's shaking up the world of innovation, and trust me, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. We've got this super interesting scholarly article, and it really digs deep into where this tech is headed. And let me tell you, it's not just about AI, writing scripts, or making cool art. We're talking about reshaping industries, from healthcare to entertainment.
Yeah, it's a wild time to be looking at this tech, that's for sure. The speed at which things are changing is like nothing I've ever seen.
It seems like every day there's a new headline. This article actually mentions that investors have poured $1.7 billion into Gen AI just in the past few years. But it was some of the examples that really got me thinking. Like, did you know that by 2025, almost a third of all new drugs could be designed by AI?
It's a bold prediction, but it shows the potential of Gen AI in drug discovery. I mean, it's not like AI is going to replace scientists entirely, at least not yet. It's more about using AI to really turbocharge the process. Imagine being able to simulate how millions of different molecules interact or analyze mountains of medical data to find new drug candidates. That's what Gen AI can do, stuff that would take humans forever.
That makes a lot more sense. So it's not that AI will magically design drugs, it's more like a superpowered tool for researchers. And it's not just healthcare. The article also talks about entertainment, and get this. By 2030, we might be watching blockbusters, where AI played a major role in bringing the script to the screen. So Hollywood writers, directors, even special effects artists, they're all going to feel the impact.
It's interesting, Ray, because it shows how Gen AI is kind of blurring the lines between these creative roles. Will AI replace human storytellers? Probably not entirely, but it could completely change how they work, giving them incredibly powerful tools to tell their stories. And this isn't limited to Hollywood. We're seeing it everywhere. Marketing using AI to write ads, software development using AI to help code.
Yeah, it's a lot to wrap your head around. The article keeps mentioning this era of ferment. Is that just a fancy way of saying things are about to get crazy?
Well, maybe not crazy, but definitely a time of super fast change and everyone trying new things. Basically, it means we're still in the early stages of this whole thing. There's no clear winner yet, no single company or platform that's dominating like, say, Apple did with the iPhone. And that's where dominant design comes in.
Okay, hold on. What is dominant design and why should I care about it?
Okay, so think about it like VHS versus Betamax, right? Both were fighting to be the standard for home video, but VHS won and became the dominant design. Same thing is happening now with Gen AI. You've got companies like OpenAI, Microsoft, Google, all competing to be on top, each with their own strengths. OpenAI is big on open source, letting anyone use their models, while Google has tons of data, which is crucial for training these AI systems. Whoever ends up with that dominant design, they'll have a massive impact on how we interact with Gen AI in the future.
So it's not just about who builds the coolest AI, it's about who creates the whole ecosystem. That's kind of scary when you think about it.
Absolutely. The stakes are huge and the consequences are massive. But hey, that's what makes this whole thing so exciting.
So we've got powerful new technology, tons of money pouring in, and a bunch of tech giants duking it out for control. And we're all here trying to figure out how this impacts, well, everything.
You got it. And the article brings up some big questions. How will Gen AI change how we innovate? Will it create brand new industries? And what about the downsides? We'll have to unpack all that and more as we go deeper.
And dive deeper we will. But first, a quick word from our sponsor. All right, we're back and ready to jump even further into this world of generative AI and what it means for innovation. Before the break, we were talking about this era of ferment and the race to become a dominant design. It's all really cool, but I want to talk about some of the challenges of such a disruptive technology.
Definitely. And I think the biggest one on everyone's mind is how it's going to impact jobs. When AI can design drugs and write code, even make art, people start to worry about their jobs, and it's understandable.
It's kind of freaking me out, not going to lie. This article mentions this company, Trait Therapeutics. They're using AI to speed up drug discovery, which is amazing, but also kind of scary. They're saying it'll drastically cut down on time and cost, so what happens to all the researchers and scientists doing that work?
Yeah, I get it. It's a valid concern. But tech has always been disrupting the job market. Think about the switch from horses to cars. A lot of upheaval back then, but then whole new industries popped up with tons of new jobs.
So instead of disappearing, maybe jobs will just change, right? We should be thinking about how to work with AI, not be afraid of it.
Exactly. This article actually talks about that. The companies and people who succeed with Gen AI won't be fighting it, they'll be embracing it. It's not humans versus machines, it's humans plus machines. Imagine doctors using AI to go through patient data and spot risks so they can spend more time actually with the patient, giving personalized care. Or architects using AI to go through thousands of designs, coming up with buildings that are both beautiful and functional.
Those are really cool examples. So it's like, let AI do the boring, repetitive stuff so we can focus on things humans are good at. Creativity, empathy, critical thinking. It's weird. We always talk about the AI tech itself, but maybe the real challenge and opportunity is figuring out how we change, how we adapt our skills to thrive in this new world.
I totally agree. The tech is just a tool, right? What matters is how we use it. And that makes me think of another thing the article mentioned. How do we even measure innovation when AI is so involved?
Whoa. Yeah, if AI is pumping out new designs, new products, even new ways of doing business, what even is innovation then?
Exactly. It makes you wonder, right? Do our old ways of thinking about radical versus incremental innovation even make sense anymore? Or is AI going to just blur all those lines?
And with innovation happening so fast, how are we even supposed to keep up? By the time you notice a new trend, it's already old news.
That's why it's more important than ever to stay informed, to be constantly learning, and not just about the tech itself, but the bigger picture. How's it hitting different industries? What are the ethics involved? How do we make sure this stuff is used responsibly?
It's like we're standing at the edge of uncharted territory. We see the potential, but no idea what's around the corner. And speaking of unexpected turns, this article dives into some legal stuff about Gen AI, which I did not see coming.
Yeah, the legal stuff is a whole other can of worms, and it's honestly one of the most interesting parts of this whole discussion.
Tell me about it. Like, if AI is making art and music, writing books even, who owns that stuff? The AI, the people who made the AI, the people using it. I'm so lost.
You and everyone else, it's a huge debate, and legal experts are trying to figure it out right now. The article says our current laws about intellectual property weren't built for this. They assume humans are the creative ones. What happens when that's not true anymore?
It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. So we're figuring out how to use AI in our work, BUT. We also need to rewrite all the rules about creativity and ownership in the age of AI. That's a lot.
It's a huge task, yeah, but important. And it's not just about protecting artists or inventors, it's about making sure innovation keeps happening in a way that benefits everyone.
Okay, so big recap. We've talked about how Gen AI might affect jobs, how we have to adapt our skills, how innovation itself is changing, and ease the crazy legal stuff. My brain is full.
There's even more to talk about, like the whole philosophy of AI and if it can solve the world's biggest problems. It's a lot.
Well, good thing we've got you to guide us. But before we get lost in the AI rabbit hole even further, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
We'll be right back.
And we're back. You know, it's weird. Before we started this whole deep dive, I thought I knew a thing or two about generative AI, but now I'm realizing it's like this huge ocean and I've just been dipping my toes in.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way. We get caught up in what's new, what the tech can do right now. But the really big changes, the ones that change everything, they take decades, not just years. And a lot of times, can't even see what's coming.
So what you're saying is, even if we could predict all the cool Gen AI stuff happening in the next 10, 20 years, that's still just the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly. Think about the printing press. Revolutionized communication, spread knowledge everywhere, led to the Renaissance, the Enlightenment.
Yeah.
Huge stuff. But when Gutenberg printed that first Bible, no one knew any of that would happen. With Gen AI, we might not know its real impact for generations.
Okay, that's both exciting and terrifying. Knowing we're shaping the future, but having no clue what it'll actually look like.
Yeah.
So what do we do? You mentioned learning, but where do we even start?
Great question. I think the most important thing is to be critical. Don't believe everything you hear about Gen AI. Question the hype, think about the assumptions, look for real evidence. There's a lot of noise out there, but there are also some really smart people who are looking at both the good and the bad sides of this tech. Find those people, listen to what they're saying, and don't be afraid to discuss it, debate it.
So be informed, but also be skeptical. Don't get swept up in the excitement or freaked out by the fear. Think for yourself about how we want to use this technology and how it might end up using us.
Exactly. And this isn't something that's just happening to us. We're creating it, shaping it with our decisions, our money, even our conversations. So get involved, try it out, and never stop asking those tough questions.
I love that. So to wrap things up, what's one big takeaway you want to leave our listeners with from our deep dive into Gen AI and innovation?
Don't mistake speed for progress. Just because things are changing fast doesn't mean they're always getting better. The real test of any technology is how it makes our lives and our world better. As Gen AI keeps evolving, let's make sure we're asking the right questions and steering it in a direction that benefits everyone.
Beautifully said. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into generative AI and innovation. We've covered a ton, but this is just the start. Keep exploring this amazing, constantly changing field. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay curious.